Good morning. Welcome to First UU. My name is Era. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a 52-year-old woman with short dyed red hair and a light blue sweatshirt on this morning. We are glad to have you here, and we hope that you will stay for coffee or tea and conversation after the service, as well as the friendly feast if possible. Also, you do not have to have remembered to bring food. All are welcome to eat. The chalice lighter in the sanctuary is Bonnie. Thanks, Bonnie. Our words for chalice lighting this morning are by Maria Popova. In this world, heavy with robust reasons for despair, joy is a stubborn courage we must not surrender. A fulcrum of personal power we must not yield to cynicism, blame, or any other costume of helplessness. And when the war within rages, as it does in every life, the practice of joy, the courage of joy, becomes our mightiest frontier of resistance.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Morning. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, this is visual, so I want to be here where you guys can all see me. So make sure everybody can hear me. I can yell pretty loud. What? Hear you if you're not behind the mic. Okay. All right, I will try to stand nice and tall so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to invite the young people up right now because the next thing we're going to do is going to be time for all ages so they can be here ready for their time of the service. We're going to try something we haven't done in a while. We're going to do a moving meditation as a chance to center ourselves and prepare for today's service. Well, my name is Becca, and I'm a member of this church. I'm a redhead. I'm wearing a green dress. I have on a long black cardigan. All right, I'd like everybody to sit and relax. You can do this in your chairs. If you don't want to participate, just sit and meditate for a few moments. Take a deep breath. Nice deep breath, and let it out. Think about where you are and who's next to you. I'd like you to take one hand and put it on your head like this, right around your forehead. This is your mind. This is where everything you do comes from. Your thinking, your planning, your dreams for the future, your analysis of the past. Now take that hand and put it on your heart. These are where your feelings come from. Yes, I know it's just a pump. I am a nurse. We're being metaphorical here. This is where your passion comes from, your joy, your happiness, love. This is who you are, your mind and your heart. Hold your hands out, be mindful of the person next to you. and just gently kind of dangle your fingers around a little bit. Think of the energy in this room, the love, the compassion, the acceptance, the welcoming of all of the people who share this room with you, friends, old and new. Now I would like you to take your hands and raise them above your head and hold them there for just a moment. That is your chalice, your personal chalice. And I would like you to take a moment and invite the universe to fill your chalice to the brim with wisdom, with light, with joy, compassion, truth, everything that means something to you, all those things that are here and here. Just fill that chalice absolutely to the brim. Now, when it's becoming to be full, you don't want to spill any. Take all of that, and I want you to bring it back to your heart and make it a part of you. Take another deep breath. Let your hands go to your sides again. Jiggle your fingers and get nice and relaxed. And then I would like to bring your consideration to this candle. And I'd like you to meditate on an idea just for a second. Look at the flame. It represents a lot of things in Unitarian Universalism, but I want to bring this idea to your minds. If all of the darkness, all of it in the entire universe, multiverse for Marvel fans, if all of the darkness in the entire universe were to come rushing into this room right now, it couldn't put out the light of that one candle. Darkness has no power over light. You remember these places? That light's inside of you right now. Thank you. I now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
All right, bear with me while I get my stuff pulled up. My name is Amber. I use she, her pronouns. I have wavy curly brown hair. I used ChatGPT to help me with my outfit today to make sure my shirt would match my pants. And it told me that I was going for a comfy casual vibe. That's what I look like. So I am going to read the story today. Good morning, everybody. We're in a brand new month, and that means we have a new spiritual theme to explore this month. We're exploring the practice of joy. Specifically, we're exploring how and where we can find joy. Today, I want to share a story with you called The Wise Fool and the King. Once upon a time, in a small kingdom, there lived a king who prided himself on being serious and wise. He was a good and fair king who spent his days attending to all the matters of the kingdom, but he rarely smiled. One day, a wandering fool, this is what they used to call the court jesters. It was the court jesters' job to make kings and queens laugh, but often jesters would sneak in a bit of truth-telling too, kind of like our comedians do today. Anyway, this wise fool arrived at the palace wearing colorful clothes and a hat that was decorated with jingling bells. And the fool danced into the court, laughing and juggling, much to the amusement of everyone but the king, that is. The king was unimpressed. "What use is this foolishness?" he asked. "Life is serious, and your antics serve no purpose here." The fool bowed and replied, "Your Majesty, I respect your wisdom, so may I ask you a serious question?" "Of course," replied the king. Serious questions were, after all, his favorite types of questions. "What is the purpose of life?" asked the fool. The king thought for a moment and said, "To live wisely, make decisions for the betterment of the kingdom, and leave a legacy." The fool laughed, his bells jingling. "A noble answer, but tell me this. When was the last time you laughed, danced, or did something simply for the fun of it?" The king frowned. He couldn't remember. The fool continued, "Your Majesty, wisdom is important, but joy gives wisdom its light. It is in laughter and play that we remember why we toil and strive and work so hard. Life is not only about legacy, it's about being alive in this very moment." To prove his point, the fool taught the court a silly game where even the sternest ministers giggled like children. The king, initially resistant, was soon drawn in, laughing as he hadn't in years. At the end of the day, the king said, "You have taught me a lesson greater than I imagined. Wisdom is indeed not diminished by silliness, it is enriched by it." From that day on, the king made time for laughter, play, and foolish things done simply for the fun of it. And his kingdom became not only prosperous, but joyful. This story is all about reminding us that joy, silliness, and fun are more important than we often think. They aren't an escape from important things, they enrich important things. So, in the week and days ahead, I encourage all of us, kids and adults alike, to ask, how would our lives change if we saw them as one big treasure hunt for joy?
Thank you so much for that story. My name's Colin. I use he, him pronouns. I have a black and white checkered shirt on today. As we focus on the theme of joy this month, it seems important to note that in this part of our service each week, we experience our joys all bound up with our concerns. There's something real and raw about that, and we hope it helps us to find the balance in all of life's celebrations and challenges. As a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper, like these, are available at the greeters table for those in the sanctuary to use for joys and concerns. During the week, you can send them by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone, 417-883-3922. And if you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All of these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday. We honor each joy or concern with a stone dropped in a shared bowl of water, representing the ripple effect in all our lives. This morning, any children who want to are welcome to come help us drop the stones. And now, as we begin this time of sharing, know that though we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold in love, all of us, those present and those absent. We drop a stone for our church community. Thank you. Yomi shares, my CT scan on April 1st showed that my treatment is working and one of my tumors is getting smaller. Plus no new areas of cancer. We drop a stone of joy. Jesse shares, Jay had his first chess club tournament and won 2 of 5 games. He was so excited. And I am officially signed up for my last 2 semesters of my time at OTC. Excited and nervous for what is to come. We drop a stone of joy and solidarity. Allison shares, my oldest's move was successful. That first week was interesting for many reasons. I have a new, to me, car, and both children have new jobs. We drop a stone of joy. Thank you. And Lynn shares, it was a joy to gather yesterday for the workshop to dream, hope, and envision the bright future of First UU. Thanks to all who participated. We drop a stone of joy. Leah shares, I've begun an exploration of a new faith, joy. We drop a stone of joy. Thank you. And Michael Rodriguez shares, I woke up feeling sick this morning. We drop a stone of concern. We honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We drop a stone for all who are impacted. And in closing, for those joys and concerns that remain unspoken, we drop a stone. May we hold each of these joys and concerns in our hearts and minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. Any children who want to come downstairs and join us down there are welcome to, or to stay up here, whatever your preference is. And now let us join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
How does one even begin to live love through the practice of joy? These words from Andrea Gibson give us some hints about the joy that comes from our interconnectedness with all things. Even in a city, you can notice the way your body changes with the seasons. You can mirror the earth's steady and persistent pace. Save the seeds of an apple. Grow veggies in plant pots in the windowsill of your apartment. Feed a stranger. Never forget how alone we are not. The moss, the mountains, the redwood tree, the marigold, the mourning dove calling for her love's return are our allies. Every natural thing in this world is invested in the peace of this world. All that is good and gracious whispers, "We are with you." Our hymn for the month of April is All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. It's number 203 in the gray hymnal. The words will also be available on the screens. You may stand or remain seated to join in the singing.
We'll do 4 verses. All creatures of the earth and sky, come kindred, lift your voices high. Alleluia, alleluia. Bright burning sun with golden beam, soft shining moon with silver gleam. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Swift rushing wind so wild and strong, white clouds that sail in heaven along. Alleluia, alleluia. Fair rising morn in praise rejoice. High stars of evening find a voice. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Cool flowing water, pure and clear, make music for our life to hear. Alleluia, alleluia. Dance, flame of fire so strong and bright, and bless us with your warmth and light. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Embracing earth you day by day, bring forth your blessings on our way. Alleluia, alleluia. All herbs and fruits that richly grow, let them the glory also show. Alleluia, 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 alleluia.
This week in UU history, the week of April 6th. William Ellery Channing was born on April 7th, 1780. If the Channing name sounds familiar, it is because the room to your right as you come in the front doors is the Channing Room. Channing attended Harvard College and was ordained in 1803. He became the minister of the Federal Street Church in Boston, still standing, now known as the Arlington Street Church, which is a large and active UU congregation. Despite his reluctance to split from the conventional theology of the day, he did divide the standing order and took an active role in the Unitarian controversy. Channing created a lasting impact when he explicitly preached in 1819 on Unitarian Christianity at the ordination of Jared Sparks in Baltimore. That sermon is still in print. Channing was instrumental in forming the American Unitarian Association. Channing was a vigorous and influential preacher who spoke on behalf of the AUA as well as progressive social causes, especially opposition to slavery. A statue of Channing stands at one entrance to the Boston Public Gardens, facing the Arlington Street Church. When the Library of Congress was built in Washington, D.C., his name was placed with theology in the hallway decorations where various disciples are named. He died in 1842. Offering our gifts to support the work of building inclusive and just communities is one of the many ways that we live into justice and equity together. Some of us have much to give, and some have little. And together, it is enough. We are enough to work together for a world where every human can live into their best and most authentic self. If electronic giving is your preferred method, or if you are on Zoom, virtual giving options are available via our website, springfielduu.org. The offertory is Spread Joy by Natalie Sleeth, performed by John and the choir.
Good morning. It's good to look out at all of you beautiful people this morning. I am Reverend Michelle Scott Huffman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the minister here at First UU. I'm a average height woman with short, spiky salt and pepper hair, wearing black and gray today, because that's how it feels out there. C.S. Lewis once said that joy is the serious business of heaven. And maybe it is, but I'm not much on ideas of heaven and hell. I want to suggest today that joy is the serious business of earth, of humanity, of this life. Joy is the serious business of survival, of protest, of healing. Joy, my friends, is serious business, and it's time for us to get serious about joy. I recently heard someone suggest that joy is a luxury, one that exists among and for people of privilege, and I wholeheartedly disagree. In my lifetime, almost without exception, the most joyful people I have known or encountered have been people living in deep poverty, people facing oppression and discrimination beyond anything I could ever have imagined myself, people whose circumstances appeared fairly dismal. And yet somehow, over and over again, these people experienced and exhibited joy that were both instructive and inspiring to me. Throughout this month, you'll hear lots of things about joy. In some cases, it will be used interchangeably with happiness. But the kind of joy that I want to talk about today is not that. So I want to say, let's be clear. Joy is not the same thing as happiness. Happiness tends to be circumstantial. It's about how things are going. A good day, a win, a compliment, a vacation, all of those are wonderful things and we need them. But that's not sustainable in our everyday lives. Joy is deeper. It's less about what's happening to us and more about what's happening within us. It's not so much a reaction as it is a presence, a current, if you will, that runs beneath the surface, even when the waters are rough. Theologian and spiritual writer Henry Nouwen spent the last 10 years of his ministry and his life serving residents with profound developmental disabilities in the L'Arche community in Toronto. What he found there was a depth of joy that he hadn't previously known existed. In his time there, he discovered his own path to joy in the midst of deep suffering and even in the midst of a deep depression. He wrote, "Joy does not simply happen to us. We have to choose joy and keep choosing it every day. Joy is not always loud. It's not always a smile or laughter. Sometimes it looks like resilience. Sometimes it looks like awe. Sometimes it's a quiet knowing that even in the darkest of places, light is still possible." Thank you, Becca. Science affirms what mystics and poets have long known. Joy can be cultivated from within. Neuroscience tells us that practices like gratitude, mindfulness, storytelling, and awe activate parts of our brain associated with long-term well-being. Not fleeting pleasure, but durable, sustainable joy. And yet the choice to cultivate joy is not always an easy one. It often requires a radical act of attention, a turning toward life when we'd rather numb or turn away. Psychologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl once wrote, "Everything can be taken from a person but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. In other words, the world can break our hearts, our spirits, and sometimes our bodies, but it cannot fully steal our joy unless we give it away. Joy, like dignity, is not something the world bestows. It is a birthright that we claim. None of that is to say that being in a state of joy wards off all other emotions. Cole Arthur Riley, author of This Here Flesh and the creator of Black Liturgies, writes about a joy that encompasses all other emotions rather than trying to do away with them. She says, joy doesn't betray the pain, it honors it. Joy is what makes pain holy. She goes on to say that joy is not a negation of suffering, but something that can hold space for sorrow, rage, tenderness, and hope all at once. In her vision, joy is capacious. It doesn't demand that we cast off our grief or our anger before entering its presence. Cole Arthur Riley tells a story about being in the presence of a joyful family, and the way that they invited her into joy in her youth was being present to whatever it was that she was feeling that wasn't quite presenting itself as joy. But she gained joy from knowing that she was welcome to be there just as she was, and that their joy would hold her. She says it gathers all those other feelings in its arms and says, you belong here too. I find this expansive view of joy so deeply liberating. Because if joy requires cheerfulness or the absence of struggle, most of us would be disqualified from it on a regular basis. But if joy can live alongside sorrow, if joy is what makes pain holy, then we can claim joy, even in the shadowed parts of our lives, maybe especially in the shadowed parts of our lives. And I do believe this is a message for today, a message for the time when the dismal state of our country requires the best, most healthy selves we can be. Let's face it, we are likely to be in active resistance for a sustained period of time. And sometimes we haven't done that well. It's like we don't know how to be angry and motivated and still human. And when I say we, I'm speaking particularly of progressives. And if I'm being honest, I mean primarily white progressives. Because communities of color have been digging into their joy to sustain themselves for as long as they've been oppressed and marginalized. In a 2024 interview with The Ink, author Rebecca Solnit spoke of our liberal tendency toward anything other than joy, saying, I do feel like there's something deeply puritanical in the left and progressive movements that I also think is pretty wrong-headed. There's a weird sense that somehow being grumpy and negative is a form of solidarity with the oppressed. And then you go and look at actually oppressed people, the Zapatistas, the coalition of Immokalee workers, people facing climate change head on in the small Pacific Island nations, and they're not grumpy and defeatist. And I don't think anybody in a gulag, in a famine, feels like someone is sitting on their nice sofa at home in the United States feeling grumpy, and that's very helpful. Solnit reminds us that despair is not solidarity. Cynicism is not a virtue, and grumpiness is not a strategy. What actually sustains movements and communities and human spirits is not the cultivation of bitterness, but stubborn, radiant practices of joy. Joy is not escapism, it's resistance. It is resistance to despair, resistance to dehumanization, resistance to the narrative that tells us we must be bitter to be serious or joyless to be just. In Emergent Strategy, Adrienne Marie Brown writes, "Pleasure is a measure of our freedom." And later, joy is a form of resistance. When we choose to feel joy in the face of injustice, we are asserting our humanity. This is the kind of joy that fueled singing in the streets during the civil rights movement, that created dances in refugee camps, that paints murals on boarded up buildings, that throws block parties in neighborhoods that the world has written off. It's the kind of joy that says, you will not crush my spirit. I am still here. I am still breathing. I am still beautiful, and I refuse to give you my joy. Joy is also communal. We sometimes imagine joy as a solo pursuit, like some personal achievement, but joy is most alive when it is shared. It multiplies in connection. Think of a song sung in harmony, a joke that gets the whole table laughing, a potluck where everyone brings what they have and somehow it's more than enough. UU theologian Rebecca Parker reminds us we must not be ashamed of joy. It is the source of our power. Our communities need joy, not just as a balm, but as a generative force, as the heartbeat of resistance, as the fuel of our compassion. Each time we light a chalice, each time we share a story, each time we pass the plate, each time we show up, we are participating in the slow, quiet, radical act of building joy into the very fabric of our lives. So how do we get serious about joy? We begin by choosing to notice. Notice what? Notice everything. Notice beauty, notice kindness, notice moments of connection, to give ourselves permission to feel delight even when the world is heavy. We practice gratitude, not to erase hardship, but to hold it in balance. We turn to the poets and the prophets and the artists and the ancestors who remind us what joy looks like. We make time for what renews us, whether that's music, movement, nature, prayer, meditation, power, playing, being together. When I say power, I mean reclaiming our power, not the kind of power that we're trying to resist against. We remind each other again and again that joy is not a distraction. It's a discipline, a choice, a flame that we keep tending in ourselves and one another. The folks who put together our Soul Matters materials that we use in our small groups shared this piece to introduce the joy theme this month. It's easy to get tricked, taken for a ride, convinced that joy is a possession, something to be caught, contained, and controlled just by us, as if it's a birthday present waiting for us to unwrap it and keep forever and ever. And who can blame us with pain seeming so powerfully prevalent and permanent? If sadness can stay for so long, why can't joy? Maybe it's elusive for a reason. Maybe it's slippery in order to help us understand that it was put here to fly, or better yet, to be flung, to be passed, not possessed, to be spread between you and me, between the ones who receive this gift and the ones that have been looking for its treasure for a very long time. Maybe it's a beautiful and elegant contagion over which we just might have more control than we think. If only we share it. If only we notice that joy is not ours to keep, but ours to give. Maybe joy is a gift that opens us as much as we open to it. Maybe that's the way light leaks into our weary world. Friends, I think it's time to get serious about joy. But getting serious about joy doesn't mean ignoring the suffering of the world. It means refusing to let suffering have the final word. Joy is what makes pain holy. Joy is what keeps us human. Joy is what keeps us alive. And so may we cultivate it. May we share it. May we sing it, shout it, bake it, write it, dance it, whisper it, build it, whatever it takes to keep our light alive, because this world needs our joy desperately. And thank goodness, I think we were made for it. Blessed be, and amen. The interlude today is Homeward Bound by Marta Keene, performed by Eva. Our closing words today are by Reverend Jackie Riker. We're going to read them as a call and response. So I'm going to say a phrase, and then you're going to say, "Your light remains." So, in the joy of your heart, in the gift of your caring, where you reached out to help, where you sat in silent peace, in the place where you worked, in the stillness of the starry night, in the light of each day fully embraced. Your light remains like the touch of the sacred. Your light remains when you live as a light. Your heart is joined in the infinite light of love. and that about you which is eternal remains. Your light remains. The final hymn is Come and Go With Me. It's number 1018 in the Teal hymnal. You feel free to stand or sit as you sing.
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound.
Friends, as we prepare to leave from this place, I want to invite you to not go out the door, but to go out this way as some folks set up tables over here so that we can share in our friendly feast together. Please do stay, even if you didn't bring anything. We're happy to have you here to share a meal today. As we prepare to extinguish our chalice, I want to invite our chalice lighter up to do that. I want to say one other thing about the joy of the folks who are on Zoom with us. I was standing over here singing that song, and Ryan McCoy, I don't know if you were playing your keyboard or not, but I think you might have been. And that makes me really, really happy. And also seeing Jesse joining us from Zoom while downstairs in the library, preparing our library for folks to check out things. So we have now extinguished our communal and personal chalices, and we'll close with our unison sending words. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew.